Yes.
Okay.
I actually had a therapist when I was younger because I was super scared and I could never stop talking about it.
But I can imagine. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. I'm scared of dolls. I'm extremely afraid of dolls still. So I can resonate with how you feel, and especially with that happening to you, Mike. And have you thought about even now as a man? You know, you're how old now?
I'm 20.
20. Okay. So have you thought of maybe seeking any kind of counseling? We have resources for you if you'd like to for your city. If you don't already have someone, I'm a wellness coach.
This is not fake though. This is real. This is like
Okay.
something is after me.
Yes. Okay. Mike.
If I'm
Mike.
I will die.
Mike. The question was, are you able to get professional help for that? I understand it's real. That's why we're talking about feelings. They're real. Yes.
There's no help. You can't help me.
You don't
I already tried.
Okay, so you just give up on yourself? Because I don't want you to give up on yourself, Mike.
I'm not giving up on myself. There's nothing to give up on. It's just, it's here. It's like a demon or some spirit.
Okay.
And it's trying to kill me.
Okay.
So I don't know how to explain it, but I've been dodging it for years.
Okay, so what would you like Vibe Talk to do for you today?
I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to talk about it.
Okay, and you're here. That's why I was saying, if you wanted to have a resource, you can talk about it. There's no problem with that, okay? We're here to listen. My co-host, Trish. Trish, say hi to Mike.
Hello, Mike.
We have our co-host here, so we don't want you to feel like you can't call and talk about things. That's what we're here for. I want to tell you that your feelings are real, Mike. 100% do I believe you. 100%. I believe you, and I believe in what you're saying. And so the best way to get that out is to talk about it and be able to help yourself. What did your counselor or your therapy session, what did they help you with? Or did they help you?
They gave me this thing called Zoloft.
Okay, so medication. So without me saying, because I'm not in the field of a medical doctor. I'm not a doctor. Sometimes we have to talk out the feelings. And we understand those are real feelings. I don't doubt you for 1 minute. So where do we go? Where would you like to go from here, Mike? Is my question to you.
I want to face my fear.
You want to face your fear. No, I like the way you say that because that's what Vibe Talk is all about. You made the first call, and you are to be commended for coming here and wanting to talk about it. Good morning to French. How are you? And we're on a live call. Trish, you want to ask him where he's from, please, and thank you. French.
Hi, French. What are you thankful for and why? And what state are you listening in from?
From France. Welcome. Are you in France now? And what time is it there? Oui. Nope, you're in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. Well, welcome. We're here joining our live conversation. We're talking to Mike. Mike, I want you to know that it's always okay to talk about your feelings. This is a free place for you to do that. And so, as you face your fear, you can join Vibe Talk every day. Trish, where can they find us? You want to...
You can find us on Facebook. Just type in the link facebook.com/vibe-talk. And our direct connect is 661-503-8993. And we also have a YouTube channel, Vibe-Talk, all caps. It's the same logo, you can't miss it.
So if you want help, we're always here to help you, okay, Mike? And this is our work number. French, I appreciate that. We've been on the air for 2.5 years, never been spammed. This is nobody's house number, but I thank you. And we ask that as you're here, that you are going to be respectful for others. Please don't come in here and interrupt. Mike, I'm back to you. Mike, can you hear me okay? Is Mike still on, Trish?
Yo.
Oh, there you are. So I want you to first, I'm sorry about the interruption. Sometimes people come in and they don't realize that we are live. Anyway, Mike, we have been here, and as a wellness coach, I'd love to have you come on board, and we talk about feelings every day. What kind of days do we have in here, Trish, starting with Monday motivation? That maybe you can help Mike with.
We have Motivational Monday, and we also have Transformational Tuesday and Wednesday Wellness like today. And on Thursdays we have Think About Thursday, our table talk. And on Friday we have Finally Friday, Facing the Lion.
Yes. So does that sound like something that we also have podcasts that if you don't catch us live, we're on Facebook. My co-host said that. Facebook.com/vibe-talk. In fact, Trish, we're live over there. So go ahead and open your page there, Trish. And we're here to help you. We're here. Okay?
All right.
Anything else you want to say, Mike?
Nah. I got everything on my chest.
Okay. We're glad you did. What'd you say, Mike? I'm sorry.
I'll go fight that doll now.
Yeah.
I'll catch you guys later.
Thank you so much, and we are sending love and peace to everyone in your hometown. Thank you for your call, Mike. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Okay. Thank you, Mike, for your call. We want you all to realize that your feelings are real. I am live from to answer the question for French. We are live. Trish, where are you from? State only.
I'm from South Carolina.
And I am from Palmdale, California, 2 worlds away. We want to have you guys always feel free to call. We will be accepting your calls. We want you to tell us what's on your mind. We want you to feel like you are part of the conversation. And most of all, we want to be respectful for any callers that are calling in. It's important to listen. A lot of people want to be heard, but it's important to listen. Even when I'm doing the talking, it's important for me to listen. And that's what we do here. And so we ask that calls that come in, we take them very seriously. We listen. We learn something. And we're here to help. So I was talking about feelings. We are having an off-topic but on-topic Wellness Wednesday. We're talking about being well. Trish, did you come on over to Facebook? I finally got it open live, and I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We just never know what we're going to get because we are live. But you know what I love about us? We show up. Trish, are you here on Facebook? There you go. Thank you so much. I thank you guys just for tuning in and becoming part of Vibe Talks family. Whether you're here for the first time or you're here for a second time, we want you to know that Vibe Talk is here. Sophie, good morning and welcome. So, in conversation, I was talking about my son and getting that job. Trish, did you want to say anything? I'm sorry. I don't want to overrun you.
I wanted to say that the feeling that you felt like when you heard that about your son is like the feeling my mom felt when I told her, like, the school is on fire. And it's a comical story, but at the same time, she was very worried. Like, she was so scared.
Okay,
like,
so share it with us. We like laughter too.
So, someone was being foolish in the restroom, and they caused an accident and caused fire. So, I was in class, and my class did not know what was going on. The teacher thought that someone just pulled the alarm, and it was a false alarm, when literally everyone outside was running outside. So the assistant principal told everyone the school's on fire, and we rushed out. I was very scared. My brain was thinking of the worst scenario possible. So I text my mom, and I'm like, Mom, the school's on fire. And when I text her, the school Wi-Fi cuts off.
Oh no.
And I know that she's calling me. And I'm so worried. I'm like, oh, I know my mom's freaking out right now. I'm like, oh my goodness, my dad. I know he's freaking out. And then for my mom's side, my mom was she was crying. She was going hysterical. She was like, oh my goodness, we gotta get down there. What's going on? The school's not calling people, telling them what's going on.
Yes.
The school's not saying, oh, the school's on fire, this is happening. None of that was going on. And my mom was she was like, oh my goodness, you have to go down there, talking to my dad. My dad was like, calm down. He's trying to calm her down.
Right.
And he said when he came to the school that he was like, oh, I want to come pick my daughter up. I want to pick Treasure up. And then they're like, sorry, sir, can't pick her up right now.
Yeah.
And when my mom told me that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was confused. And then she was like, he was waiting out there for a good 10 minutes, to let, he thought the people were going to come get you and take you to where he was at. But they didn't do that. And that situation about your son just reminded me of that situation, how my mom was very worried about that and stuff. Everyone was okay, though. Everyone was okay.
We are glad to hear that. Trish, thank you so much. The reason, too, guys, we want you to share your stories is because we have them. Vibe Talk, you'd be surprised at even the host and the co-host. My manager, Trish, just shared with you a story. We have them too. And so we ask that you talk about your feelings. Because these are alive, you know. I try not to talk about the thing with my son happening because that was so devastating to me. I almost passed out. Literally, because the police, I've got one child that's home with me, and then the other one I'm constantly worrying to, and no matter how much you go through, no matter how much it's, families are families, you're going to have your ups and downs. At the end of the day, we still love each other at the end of the day. And so we're going to get into talking about our feelings, because this is the week for it. We are accepting phone calls. I just put up notification, Trish, on this side because I can never find my button for this side. I put up that Vibe Talk Direct Connection. We want to make it perfectly clear. It's not a home number. Vibe Talk Direct Connection is a number line exclusively for Vibe Talk. That number is 661-503-8993. You can text us your story. We will be sure. We don't have to use names or anything. But if you've got a story, because we had one, and we want to thank Mike for sharing that story with us. Hopefully we can help him to feel a little bit better. A little bit better. We hope that this is not last time we'll see him. Trish, did you want to say something? I saw your button light up.
Yes. I meant to say this when Mike was here, but I'm proud that Mike, his mindset is ready to to face his fear. I'm so proud. Some people, they don't reach that state yet, and I'm happy that he reached that state. I'm ready to face my fear. I'm gonna do it.
Didn't you like that? Thank you, Trish, for bringing that out. Didn't you really like that? And that's what we're talking about, how we feel. Imagine that caller had been dealing, that experience happened to him as a child. We don't want anybody that's going to listen to this at the pre-recording to say, oh, this or this. Don't give your opinion. Because that's his story. You weren't there. I wasn't there. Trish, my co-host and manager, was not there. When it comes out of the mouth, we listen. So we are going to ask you to refrain from trying to challenge him. That's his story. That's his experience, and we respect you, Mike, for having the courage to share your feelings. That's what we want in here, right, Trish?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to get into Chapter 2 on Wellness Wednesday, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. We're going to talk about energy and vibrations. The reading, we want to give credit to Martha Ann Rawlings. And who is the book writer, Trish?
The book writer is Karol K. Truman.
Yes. So we're going to get into that. We needed to just kind of make this day a day that we would remember the tragedy that happened in Uvalde, Texas. We at the school. What school did I say, Trish? Why isn't it coming to me?
This is why
It's not coming to me.
I know it was an elementary school.
Yes. More? Was that more? I'm going to check the references so that we make sure. We
Chapter 2.
checked it.
Energy
Okay, so
vibrations.
We're going to spend the next few minutes listening to Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. We're going to cover this, and we're going to do such a great job. I thought it was a good idea to do it as a group, and I believe it was you, Trish, that I asked the other day if you wanted to do the reading by yourself or do you want to do it as a group. You said what?
I said I'd rather do it as a group.
I love it. So here we are. We're going to listen to this for the next half an hour. And those of you who are coming in, we're going to put the notation on now. I'm going to put it on this side, Trish, and you can put it on your side as well. That we are listening by audio, and if they want to comment, they can do so. Okay? And we're going to start putting in our notes as I play. Here you go.
In this exciting, magnificent, electromagnetic universe of ours, everything found in, on, under, and above the universe has an energy vibration. Literally everything has unique energy. Anything that is matter has energy vibrations. When energy is discussed, however, most people think of energy in relation to our bodies, such as, I ran out of energy before the day was half over. Or they relate energy to an energy crisis, gas, gasoline, oil, fuel, or electricity. These are definite sources of energy, but not energy in the true sense of the word. Real energy is an unknown force. It is used by each of us every day of our existence, and yet we still don't know exactly what it is. We can't see it, we can't smell it, taste it, hear it, or hold it in our hands. We do experience manifestations of it every day in many ways. Although it is still a mystery to the majority of the population. Light is energy, water is energy, and electricity is energy. But how do we explain it? Energy is a force that takes many forms and can be manifested in many ways. Rocks have energy. Likewise, trees, plants, soil, and insects have energy. The carpet on your floor has an energy. So does the material in your sofa. The wood your piano is made of and the ivory keys, glass in the windows, has energy vibrations, as well as the brick in the fireplace, the frame around the painting, and the paint in the painting, the food you eat, the clothes you wear, your hair, your nails, your glands, and your organs all have energy. Everything about you is energy. Most importantly, though, for the purposes of this book, it is imperative to understand that your feelings and your thoughts are energy. Your feelings and your thoughts are matter, and according to what physics has taught us, matter cannot be destroyed. The form of matter can be altered, but matter itself is indestructible. Scientist and author Edward W. Russell postulates the actuality of thought fields. In the book, Vibrations, we're told that a thought is an independent force all its own, and it can produce effects, which form a field. So, if thoughts are matter and have their own thought field, why can't they be destroyed? Because thought consists of atoms, and atoms are composed of tiny amounts of pure energy. Waves of energy, solidified or frozen, into the non-movement recognized as matter. Matter is a form of energy that is in very slow or stopped motion or frequency. Therefore, thought as matter is impossible to destroy. Feelings as energy or matter are also impossible to destroy. Nevertheless, perfect blueprint with a memory of perfection. Negative energy of any kind covers over this memory of perfection to some degree and slowly obscures the truth of our being. As the negativity mounts in our being, little by little our memory of perfection becomes shrouded and obscured. Consequently, our negativity creates a false self. If you wonder at the power of feelings and thoughts as an energy, the following information can assist you in comprehending its ever-present vibrational influence. Energy travels at the rate of 186,000 miles per second. Thought can travel at 186,000 miles per second also. Energy moves in pulses like waves. The crest is the pulse of energy and the trough is the pause. How close together the waves are is called frequencies. How frequently the waves occur. This range of frequencies is called the electromagnetic spectrum. We see, feel, and experience materially is but a tiny part of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Beyond this range lies the largest part of the spectrum, heretofore unmeasurable and unknown. Here lies the frequency rates of gravity, magnetism, and magnetism. All elements of the earth have different energies. Some have energy vibrations whose frequencies are very close together. Some have energy vibrations whose frequencies are very broad or far apart. In any given matter, closer together the vibrational frequencies, the higher the vibration, and the closer that matter is to its energy source. Or put it another way, the more positive the energy of any given matter, the closer the frequencies, and thus the closer that matter is to its source. Likewise, the more broad the frequencies of any given matter, the further that energy is from its source. In other words,
Yes.
the more negative the energy of any given matter, the wider the frequencies, and the further that matter energy is from its source. A very vivid and profound illustration of the power of feeling and thought frequencies was told by Dr. W. Jerome Stowell. And here is his story. I was almost a devout atheist. I did not believe that God was any more than a conglomeration of everyone's mind put together. And the good that was there, that was God as far as I was concerned. As for the real, all-powerful God existing and loving all of us, with power over everything, I did not believe that. Then one day, I had an experience that really set me thinking. I was in a large pathological laboratory where we were attempting to find the wavelength of the brain. We found a channel of wavelengths, and that channel has a Mach room unit of measure in it, wherein the different wavelengths of each individual's brains are further separated in identity, more clearly than are the fingerprints of each individual's hand. This is a point we should remember. God can actually
Good morning,
keep
Taya.
in heaven a record of our thoughts as individuals, just as the FBI can keep a record of our fingerprints.
We are listening to a book called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die.
To discover what took place in the brain at the moment
Trish,
of
can you put up
transition
on
from
note
life to death.
where they can find
We
us?
chose first a lady whose family had sent her to a mental institution, but who had been discharged. The doctors could find nothing wrong with her other than the fact she had cancer of the brain. This affected the balance of her body only. As far as her alertness of mind was concerned, and in every other way, she was exceptionally brilliant. We knew she was on the verge of death, and she was informed in this research hospital that she was going to die. We arranged a tiny pickup in her room to ascertain what would take place in the transition of her brain from life to death. We also put a very small microphone, about the size of a shilling, in the room so that we could hear what she said if she had anything to say. 5 of us hardened scientists, perhaps I was the hardest of the group, were in an adjoining room with our instruments prepared to register and record what transpired. Our device had a needle pointing to 0 on the center of the scale. To the right of the scale was calibrated to 500 points positive. To the left of the scale was calibrated 500 points negative. We previously had recorded on this identical instrument the power used by a 50 kilowatt broadcasting station in sending a message around the world. The needle then registered 9 points of the positive side. As the last moments of this woman's life arrived, she began to pray and praise the Lord. She asked the Lord to be merciful unto those who had despitefully used her. Then she reaffirmed her faith in God, telling him she knew he was the only power and the only living power. He always had been and always would be. She praised God and thanked him for his power and for her knowledge of his reality. She told him how much she loved him. We scientists had been so engrossed with this woman's prayer that we had forgotten our experiment. We looked at each other and saw tears streaming down scientific faces. Suddenly we heard a clicking sound on our forgotten instrument. We looked and the needle was registering a positive 500, desperately trying to go higher, only to bounce against the 500 positive post in its attempt. By actual instrumentation, we had recorded that the brain of a woman alone and dying, in communication with God, had registered more than 55 times the power used by a 50 kilowatt broadcasting station sending a message around the world. After this, we decided to try a case very unlike the first one. We chose a man lying in the research hospital stricken with a deadly social disease. His brain had become atrophied to the point of death. He was practically a maniac. After we had set up our instruments, we arranged for one of the nurses to diagnose the man. Through her wiles, she attracted his interest in her and then suddenly told him she did not want to have anything more to do with him. He began to verbally abuse her, and the needle began to register on the negative side. Then he cursed her and took the name of God in vain. The needle then clicked back and forth against the 500 negative post. By actual instrumentation, we had registered what happened to the brain when that brain broke one of God's 10 commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. We had established by instrumentation the positive power of God and the negative power of the adversary. We had found that beneficial truth is positive and non-beneficial things covered by the thou shalt nots of the 10 commandments are negative. If we scientists can record these things, I believe with all my heart that the Lord God can keep a record of our thoughts. Do you think the vibrational frequencies of the positive feelings, thoughts, and words of the sick woman in this story drew her closer to her source? Likewise, that the vibrational frequencies of the negative feelings, thoughts, and words of the sick man repelled him from his divine source. Well, what is meant by source? Source is what or who you consider to be your source, your divine source. Whether that is God, universal intelligence, universal mind, Buddha, Muhammad, or whomever you or whatever you look to, the higher power or supreme being. Most people have a reference as to their infinite source, and the majority of us, either consciously or subconsciously, have a longing to be able to better understand and eventually identify with that source, if at all possible. The closer your individual collective vibration frequencies are, the more in tune or in harmony that you are going to be with your source. The more in harmony you are, the closer you will draw to your source. The closer you are to your source, the more peace of mind you will experience. The more joy you will feel, the greater your capacity to love, and the more content you will be. It would be interesting and revealing if someone were to take a poll to ascertain how many people truly experience the above characteristics of well-being on an ongoing, continuing basis now in their lives. I seriously doubt we would find a very large percentage of the population that does. How did we get so far away? What happened to distance us from our source? Most of us are struggling daily just to maintain the status quo, let alone narrow the gap between us and our source. Has the collective fear, anger, hate, pride, greed, blame, hurt, bitterness, discontent, judgment, misery, sadness, hopelessness, and unhappiness in the world today help contribute to the conditions in which we presently find ourselves? In the process of becoming civilized, it seems that man has repelled himself further and further away from that which creates positive vibrations. The vibrations with the more desirable, closer frequencies. In our quest for comfort, success, riches, and gain, we seem to have strayed far away from the positive vibrations. Even though good intentions motivate most people, there is an increased inability to create and enjoy qualities of well-being in our lives. Qualities which establish vibrations with the closer frequencies on a permanent basis. In an effort to fill our basic needs for love, acceptance, and recognition, unfortunately, we get caught up in what society seems to foster. The frame or game of seeing who can get the most, do the best, and have the biggest. Anything to get gain seems to be a general rule with much of the human race today. Consequently, many themes on television, MTV, in movies, literature, magazines, and music appeal to our more base, sordid, and depraved qualities. Many of the foods on the grocery shelves are even prostituted to the point that we hardly recognize them as being creations of God or products of the universe. If we add to all the items heretofore listed, liquor, tobacco, drugs, there's a further compounding of negative vibrational energy. This is all in consequence of the evils and designs which exist in the hearts of conspiring men in our time. These men do not care who has to suffer or who dies, just as long as their objectives are met. Anything to get gain is the motto, and the gain is called greed or power. The theme continues: anything to excite or satisfy my senses, anything to satisfy my appetites, anything goes, regardless of what it is. So in accordance with natural laws, the disregard of others' welfare, the anything to get gain syndrome, is contributing to the negativity which permeates our society today, and it is taking its toll on the human family. Michael Wicked, in his audio tape program, It's All Within Your Reach, Building Positive Self-Concepts, states that the law of control is an essential law in understanding how we function. Many psychologists, if not most psychologists today, have come to the conclusion that the degree of control that we feel we have is in direct proportion to the amount of mental health we have. The law of control simply says that we feel good about ourselves to the exact degree to which we feel we are in control of our own life, and that we feel bad about ourselves when we feel out of harmony with ourselves to the exact degree to which we feel we are controlled by outer circumstances, by other people, and things beyond our control. Psychologists call this the difference between an internal locus, place of control, a feeling that we're behind the steering wheel of our own lives, and an external locus or place of control, a feeling that someone else is controlling our lives and taking us where they want us to go. Control begins, first of all, with our thoughts, what we think, and that controls our feelings, what we feel, and that leads to how we perform, or our actions. But all control begins with taking control of the thoughts we hold in our conscious mind. The vast majority of men and women live their lives by the law of accident. That is, by failing to plan. They are planning to fail. They have no goals beyond the short term. They make no plans, and they don't really feel they're in control of their own destiny. And they just hope that somehow things will work out all right for them. One of the major reasons we have so much negativity and disharmony and unhappiness, as well as misery and skepticism in our society, is that most people feel like bump cars in a carnival. They go off in one direction or another depending upon the next incident that happens to them. And of course, people who live by the law of accident can have no sense of control or mental well-being. Opposed to the law of accident is what we call the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect is really
I'm so
the
happy.
basic law of the universe. It is the reason that everything happens. And the law of cause and effect simply says this, that for every effect in our lives, there is a specific cause. If we do not like the effects that we are enjoying or not enjoying in our life, it's up to us to identify the causes and change the causes. That, irrespective of whether or not we know what the causes are, there is a reason for everything that happens. There is, in fact, no such thing as an accident. Everything that happens in our life happens by law and not by chance. It is our primary duty to understand the laws that control our destinies. By understanding the laws, we can control the causes and change the effects to anything we want. You will recognize immediately that the law of cause and effect is completely consistent with the law of control. Because if we can identify the causes, we can control the effects, and therefore control what happens to us in our lives. And people who live happy, fully functioning, harmonious lives are people who live by the law of control and understand the law of cause and effect in their lives. Thoughts are causes, and conditions are effects. Our thoughts are always the primary causes of the conditions or effects in our lives. And what causes our thoughts? Our feelings. We control our lives by our thoughts. Everything we are today is the sum total result of all the thinking that we have done to this moment. If we wish our lives to be different in the future, we have to change our thinking in the present. And by doing so, we change the direction of our lives. Another author puts it this way: in all the universe, there can be no such thing as luck or fate. Every action, every thought is governed by law. Behind every bit of good fortune lie the causes that we ourselves have sometime, somewhere, set in motion. Behind all ill fortune, we will find the energy we ourselves have generated. Every cause must have a certain definite effect. There's no dodging the results. We reap what we sow with exact mathematical precision. Venice, Bloodworth, key to yourself. Any undesirable condition we find ourselves in today is telling us that the natural laws have caught up with us and are witnessing this law of cause and effect reigning supreme on our parade. Our intelligence knows when we are not in harmony with the laws of the universe. We can only compromise for so long before the evidence is clearly obvious that natural laws have not been observed. The breaking of natural laws causes disharmony. The problems and challenges people are experiencing in their lives everywhere, as well as the undesirable conditions or events we may be experiencing in our own life, is a very clear indication that natural laws have been and are being not only broken, but desecrated. Then, when we combine all the factors of imbalance in our inharmonious environment with the individual negative feelings, thoughts, and emotions that we have been burying for years, the problems of disharmony and imbalance are further compounded. This disharmony has brought about a definite fragmentation of individuals, as well as families, cities, and nations. And the wide-scale fragmentation it has created is the unfortunate effect all these collective negative energy vibrations are having on human lives on a global basis today. Another sad commentary that results from breaking natural laws is the gross personal imbalance it causes, which subsequently undermines an individual's ability to have or maintain peace of mind and a continual sense of well-being. When we as individuals decelerate or halt this fragmentation by fixing or making a change or changing the energies in ourselves, we can experience the harmony and balance that we are seeking, which is a natural byproduct of our shift. At this point, our shift will have positive and far-reaching effects not only on us, but in the lives of everyone around us. So what is it that needs fixing? Our feelings and our thoughts are what determined where we are today. If what is happening to us now, both physically and emotionally, is undesirable, our feelings and our thoughts are what need fixing. Many people have a difficult time identifying their feelings and their thoughts. And this was my problem also. Too many of us have not been taught to be cognizant of what is going on inside our mind or our body. We're so used to turning our pain and hurt over to something, drugs, or someone else to fix, that we have turned off our ability to be aware, to be sensitive or mindful. The majority of the human family's consciousness is either fragmented or missing entirely. Dr. Deepak Chopra tells us in his book Quantum Healing, when consciousness is fragmented, it starts a war in the mind-body system. You may be asking, so what do I do about it? Your first challenge will be to get in touch with your internal dialogue, what you are saying to yourself and what you are feeling inside. One way to help yourself become more aware is to be sensitive to what is happening around you. Take yourself outside any situation and just be an observer, as if you were sitting in the audience and witnessing a play. Many people ask me how they can begin to label their feelings, how they can become aware. My suggestion to them is to pay attention from every angle of their existence, seeing, hearing, smelling, sensing, feeling, even tasting, to what is going on in the situation they find themselves. And here are some simple examples. If you've ever walked into a room where two people have been engaged in a heated argument that you didn't even hear, you can definitely feel that those negative vibes or vibrations are still alive, resonating and bouncing around. The air or the vibes was so thick that you could cut it with a knife. Notice the look on each person's face, the body language, your feelings, your thoughts, the awkward moments when everyone is at a loss for words, other people's reactions, what is said, how surface or how deep the conversation is, etc. If you've ever been in love or been around two people who are in love, you can definitely feel those kinds of vibrations too. There is a connective energy between these two people that is expressed through nonverbal body language, inspired and motivated by the feelings which emanate from their hearts. How do they look at each other? How are other people acting by being around them? What are you feeling just being in their presence? In other words, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you sensing? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? Have you ever had someone say something to you that cut you to the quick? I'm sure most people have had this experience. We know when our feelings have been hurt, whether the person who made the cutting remark does or not. Think about it. Our feelings have been hurt. What caused them to be hurt? Where do these feelings come from in the first place? And why would one person be hurt and another person not in the same set of circumstances? What makes the difference? Where do these feelings begin?
Well, there you have it. Trish, what do you think?
I really love I like that stuff. Like I realize a lot of things, like a lot of things. So I need to hear that. I'm glad I listened to it.
Yeah, that's what we're doing all week, folks. And I like Trish's suggestion about it because you might not get the opportunity to read this book. We're going to take this book chapter by chapter. We're going to spread our weeks around because we want you to get the experience of this powerful book. And I like to, which closes our podcast for today, I liked how it talked about your thoughts. What you think becomes a reaction. Your thoughts and your feelings are closely connected. Your thoughts, though, are a result of your actions. Going back to the young man, the shooter of the school. When you react like that, what has happened that just spiraled out of control? That wasn't just one day to think about that. And we do need to get in contact with our own feelings because they are not dead. They're very raw and real. And this is Vibe Talk. Trish, what is your question for today?
My question for today is, what have you learned or discovered about yourself today, and what was your experience like here today?
I want to apologize first and foremost for all the technical difficulty we've had for today. All of a sudden, everything started falling apart, but nevertheless, we still show up. So for those of you who have come in and wondered if I am okay, yes, I'm okay. Trish, I answered you. Yes, I was fine. Everything was dropping all around. But nevertheless, we are recording this for you. And we hope that this brings some light to your feelings, your thoughts, and anything that you've experienced. We have live calls. I feel that this was not meant for yesterday. There was a reason that this was held off until today, because it was so fitting. Trish, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
That today was perfect for this. So, yeah, I agree.
We want to be sure to hashtag the state of Uvalde, Texas. Want to make sure that even though you weren't represented by call or things, we want to make sure that you all know that we're here thinking about you. And maybe something here. We want to be sure that you all know that we are thinking of you. There may be some parents that need questions. We want you to start dealing with your things right away. We are providing free help. Free help. Get in contact with us. Trish, can you put the information up one more time on both sides? We're live on Facebook. Our direct connect for the Vibe Talk, line 503-8993. We have a YouTube channel. Reach out to us, and we will reach out to you. We're going to honor this for those heroes for the state of Texas, Uvalde, Texas. I hope I'm saying that right. And we hope that somehow that they're going to see and hear this podcast. We dedicate this to you. I felt this was a very powerful podcast. Trish, what do you have to say? The same question is for you. What was your feeling here today, and what did you discover about yourself?
My experience here today is excitement, because when I learn something, I just get so happy.
I love it. I love it.
And I learned that I should learn to stop saying anything goes, anything you say, because as the book talks about, that it invites negative energy or things that you're not comfortable with. So I need to be thoughtful. What do I really want? And be more considerate of my own emotions.
Mm-hmm. I love that. See, we all here have feelings too. It would be dismissal of us not to share with you how we all are feeling. This podcast is designed for you to do that. Yesterday we were not live. Just because we're not live does not mean that you still cannot interact. There are thousands of podcasts. Hundreds, I should say. I'm sorry. Hundreds. We want you to find them. You can hashtag Vibe Talk Video. Trish, can you put that down, please? Our Vibe Talk videos can be found by you just hashtagging Vibe Talk Video and hashtagging Vibe Talk Videos. Okay? Because a lot of you say, well, I don't have a Facebook. Well, Vibe Talk Video can be heard. We want to thank our callers today. We want to thank you for making the first step toward healing yourself. We want to thank you, parents. You are heroic. You showed up for your children. You let them go to school. You're doing your parental duties. You want your children to be educated. You are heroes. Never forget that. We want to thank our children for showing up at school. Jacob, good morning. We're just about done here. If you have missed this podcast, this is the one. Please listen to it because it will be instantly on Facebook. Trish, you want to say good morning to Jacob? Trish?
I'm here. Good morning, Jacob. What state are you listening in from, and what are you thankful for, and why?
Thank you, Trish. We invite all of you. We want to bring awareness, and that's why we are talking about the shootings. We want to turn something positive from something very negative. One of the things that I really appreciated about our reader reading this and this beautiful book is our world is fragmented from individuals to family. With that, I say to the families of the young man that shot himself, shot his grandmother, and then went to shoot in the school those innocent children. If this has been a sign of maybe him needing some help a long time ago, because our caller said something here today, that when he was little he was experiencing something. And my question is, why no one ever dealt with that? He's 20 years old and he's still dealing with that. I ask you, parents, when you are seeing signs of not being okay, please pay attention. Please. We ask you, parents, to get immediate help. If you don't know resources, these are resourceful places. Vibe Talk. Is it Talon? Good morning. And we will be quickly posting this as soon as we're done. And Trish, I want to thank from the bottom of my heart. Trish shows up every day. She's been post-surgery. She's getting well. She looks great. And she's here every day. And she is a big part of Vibe Talk. And we want everybody to be able to talk about their feelings. Trish, go ahead.
I wanted to say, to put a point out that, as the book stated, that feelings are indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the reference you made about matter is indestructible, and that's how feelings are.
Mm-hmm.
But they can be fixed, So be aware of your feelings, and it's okay to be aware. It's a big thing to be aware, but you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
We believe in you, and it is possible.
Thank you, Trish. That was beautiful. This book, ladies and gentlemen, join us, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about this book as well. We're moving into chapter 3. If you don't get it by yourself, you'll get it with us as a group, but I'm encouraging you all. Trish has put a link. We will be putting links to the book all week. You can read it beforehand. This is a beautiful book. This book saved my life. Next to the Bible, this book is second in line. It does not compare to God's Word, but it does compare to you understanding your feelings and you understanding. Trish, can you put it over on Facebook as well? Thank you. Thank you so much. So we want you to understand and know that Vibe Talk is set up for your resources. Vibe Talk is set up to listen to you. We give you all kind of connection. I want to thank all of you. This is in loving memory to all of those who were heroes. Because when you think about it, you all showed up to do what you had to do. You were not predestined for that to happen. Just know that. It could have happened to any one of us. I say to you, our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers, we are thinking of you heroes. To the families of the young man and the grandmother that was lost, there was something brewing. We may never know the story, but you do. And so we ask that we all have sympathy for the families. The grandmother didn't have to die. The shooter didn't have to die. But yet there were signs of this young man. And that is what Feelings chapter 2 brings out about the energies. Something happened that caused that. No excuse. We can't get away from that. And the result of him not knowing what was happening with him and not being able to control his thoughts, the reaction was tragic. In no way in no way am I in celebratory of this young man. I only wished that he had got control or got some help to understand the energy and feelings. Thanks, everybody. I wish you today more wellness. Trish, go ahead, baby.
States today are Michigan, Georgia, South Carolina, and Topville, California, and the thought for Newville, Texas.
Texas. Thank you. We will hashtag this story. If you are a victim or a hero, if you have a story to tell, if you are close to someone that happened to, we'd like to hear your story because we are going to be inspired from you. Our hearts go out to you. And we thank all of the staff at the elementary school. Thank you. In honor of the teachers and students. Have a good day, everybody. I wish you more wellness. Thank you, Trish, for being such a wonderful, awesome co-host and manager. Job well done. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.